Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. His Majesty King Abdullah discussed Jordanian-U.S. military ties with visiting U.S. Senate's Armed Services Committee member, Senator Jack Reed. His Majesty voiced appreciation of the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives' supportive stance towards Jordan. The King and the accompanying delegation also reviewed regional developments, efforts to reach political solutions to them, as well as efforts to counter terrorism. His Majesty also reviewed regional developments with another visiting delegation of senior officers from the U.S. Army National Defense University Capstone Fellows, which was led by retired General Gregory Martin. His Majesty highlighted the need to relaunch serious and direct negotiations between Palestinians and Israelis on the basis of the two-state solution that leads to an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. The meeting also reviewed UNRWA's role, where His Majesty stressed the need to support the UN body to continue providing educational, health, and relief services to refugees. The two sides also reviewed terrorism and the need to fight it holistically. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates Ayman al-Safadi discussed the latest regional developments with Finland's former president Tarja Halonen, who is currently in the kingdom as part of a regional tour. Safadi briefed Halonen on the kingdom's efforts towards Syrian refugees, including their impact on the education, health, infrastructure, and other sectors. He also called on the international community to shoulder its responsibility towards refugees. Safadi and Halonen also stressed the importance of boosting ties between the two countries. Safadi also met with visiting United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA Commissioner General Pierre Kranbull. The foreign minister said UNRWA should continue to provide full educational, health and relief services to refugees. Safadi also stressed that the refugee issue is a major final status issue that should be solved in accordance with UN Resolution 194 and the Arab Peace Initiative to guarantee refugees' right of return and compensation. Safadi and Kranbull also discussed ways to secure sustainable financing to address the agency's financial crisis. Over to Syria, where UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres appealed for an immediate suspension of all war activities in eastern Ghouta, following today's massive escalation in bombardment. Speaking to the UN Security Council, Guterres said residents are living in what he described as hell on earth. Russia also wants an emergency UN Security Council meeting tomorrow to discuss the situation in eastern Ghouta, where pro-government forces are bombarding the besieged rebel-held enclave near Damascus. Marked as one of the deadliest days of the Syrian civil war, the UN denounced the bombardment on hospitals and other civilian infrastructure, saying such attacks could be war crimes. The International Committee of the Red Cross, meanwhile, called for humanitarian access to Ghouta, especially to reach wounded people in dire need of treatment. Residents said they were waiting their turn to die on the besieged rebel-held enclave, where at least 38 people died today. The Syrian Observatory War Monitor reported that since Sunday night, at least 310 people have been killed in the district, while more than 1,500 were injured. In the Palestinian territories, a 19-year-old Palestinian died from wounds he sustained from Israeli fire during demonstrations in Al Brej refugee camp in central Gaza Strip last Friday. Earlier, Israeli occupation troops arrested 19 Palestinians in various West Bank cities. The Palestinian Prisoners Society said Israeli soldiers stormed the cities of Ramallah, Nablus, Hebron, Jenin and Bethlehem, and a number of other neighborhoods in East Jerusalem, arresting citizens. At least 5,000 people in New Zealand's South Island were cut off by massive landslides, and hundreds of tourists stranded after a storm caused by Cyclone Gita whipped through the country, sparking a state of emergency in several southern towns. Gita's torrential rains lashed the center of New Zealand, causing floods in the city of Christchurch and other provinces. And although it was downgraded yesterday to storm, the heavy rain still caused landslips. In South Island, about 200 tourists were still trapped after spending the night in their buses or in welfare centers. New Zealand's Weather Bureau told local media the worst was likely over. In sports and at the Pyeongchang Games, Canada's Brady Lehman kept ahead of Switzerland's Marc Bischoff-Berger to claim victory in a dramatic men's Olympic ski cross final. Olympic athlete from Russia, Sergei Rydzik, and Canada's Kevin Drury both fell early in the final, but Rydzik was able to get up and take bronze. Drury recovered from his fall and crossed the finishing line, although he was given a did not finish classification. The Canadian claimed his country's third gold medal from a possible 5 in ski cross events at the Olympics. Alexander Kristoff of Norway won the sprint finish to take the opening stage of the Abu Dhabi Tour. The UAE Team Emirates rider powered ahead of Andrea Guardini of Italy and Australian Caleb Ewan to win the flat 189-kilometer stage that started and finished in Medinat Zayed. Briton Mark Cavendish abandoned the race after he crashed in the neutralized zone and suffered concussion and whiplash. And finally, a look at the weather forecast. It will be cold tonight with rain expected across the kingdom. Cold conditions continue tomorrow with scattered showers also expected in the morning hours in various regions, including Aqaba. Amman can expect a high of 13 degrees Celsius and a low of 6 degrees, while in the Gulf of Aqaba it will be warm with a high of 26 degrees, sliding down to 13 at night. With this, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Dana Absham. Thanks for watching and have a good night.